Hey, Rupert. First of all, thanks for keeping me updated on where you're at and generally how the trend of the symptoms for different parts of your body are moving. It definitely helps me with programming and lets me know whether we're on the right track or we need to make a change. And it generally sounds like things are moving in the right direction, and that things are on the right track from this kind of review here. In terms of diagnosing what's going on with your knee, I would probably, just from how you're describing it and just the general location and quality, um, I think you probably have something called patellofemoral pain syndrome, which is different than chondromalacia, because chondromalacia kind of attributes what you're feeling to stuff going on the backside of your patella versus and there's been a couple of people who have kind of poked around there and we're unsure whether that is usually there for most people that for that get some kind of scan, but not necessarily related to something going on with pain in the way we used to think about it. But it's probably more of that kind of patellofemoral pain syndrome types of things. You might notice that it moves around, the quality changes, but it's generally front of the knee kind of pain that moves a little bit and feels a little different from time to time. It does not change the strategy that we're using, because it's going a lot of it's going to be based upon. There's not something specific I would do for chondromalacia, patellofemoral pain, patella tendinopathy. If depending on what the person was trying to get back to doing, there might be some small changes, especially with activities like jumping or things like that I might not do with patellofemoral pain syndrome, but the general strategy for what you're doing, what's important to you, the activities that you like, going to stay the same. In terms of your hip, if things are improving and on the right track, you're not plateaued, you're not regressing. This doesn't mean that you don't have a bad day every now and then. This is normal part of this kind of recovery. But if things are generally trending in the right direction, I don't necessarily want to add stuff or make things different. Um, This is wonderful. I'm really glad that you've been diligent about this and kind of, just noticing your standing posture, because this definitely does help especially when hip pain gets flared up bad, and it's kind of in the way that you were describing it in particular. So at the moment, I don't want to add specific hip work. Might we do this in the future? Sure. There might be a time when we add something like banded walks or, maybe a couple of other exercises. But um, at this moment, with things trending well, you're generally doing well. I don't want to, I don't want to add. I want you to kind of keep implementing the strategies that you're already implementing and see if that trend line continues to improve. All right, let's take a look at your lifts here. This is unfortunate. This is one of the things that I haven't had to deal with in a long time, which I'm grateful for. Press, you look great. This is always a bummer. I've done that myself. I've also done. You know where this happened to me the most? It was on some kind of like weighted chin or dip using the belt. My t-shirt would get caught, and it would just end up ripping a hole with the weight hanging from me, and I would not notice until I took things off, and it was too late. Bench looked good. Nothing to really report there. Okay. You're welcome. This happens all the time for people for different reasons. Sometimes it's life events, sometimes it's something more predictable like school or a work deadline that things are building towards. But this is the way things go. It's better to just prioritize the training consistency, um, make the workouts easier and more manageable while you're in it, and then build up over time. And before you know it, you're back on your feet. Whatever the situation was that you know perturbed everything usually has resolved or made some headway, and then you can just get back at it. So, and the key thing here is not thinking about these things as a setback. This is just a part of life. Training is something that you're doing as part of your life to kind of, as a one of the purest forms of, self improvement and just personal challenging yourself. Those kind of things. It's just and we can't always control like all these things, all the circumstances of our life, and we just got to roll with the punches sometimes and make the necessary adjustments in things that we can control, like our training. I think that this is a great I think the answer here is yes. Let's plan to kind of peak you out, hit some PRs, before the end of the year, and I think that's a good plan, and we'll go from there. And depending on how you're feeling, we might do these at separate times, like a week apart. We might do them at the same time. If you have a preference, let me know. But um, let's plan on that. Let's plan on, ramping up and hitting something bigger and a little bit more fun. And then we'll go back to the program, after that. Hope this helps and nice work.